We're going to talk first about respectful communication guidelines. These may be very familiar to a lot of us. They may be somewhat familiar to some of us. Some of us may have never heard of these before. What they are, though, even if we know them a lot, is to come back to say, these are the guidelines that are going to guide us and direct us in this conversation. So it can truly be a respectful conversation, that it can truly be a conversation, that truly allows the Lord's Word to be heard and to be spoken. Well, what are they all about? Let's take a look, guys. Okay. Respectful communication guidelines, it's all about respect. The first is take responsibility. What that means is when I say something, when I share, when I'm invited to share something in this conversation, I don't say, they all think. They all are talking about. Everyone says. Now we do that a lot at pastoral council meetings, don't we? We say, everyone feels this way. Who are they? Well, everybody. Well, names, I could go on all night, so it's not so, if it's what I feel, what I think. I take responsibility for what I'm saying. That I'm not somehow, I can speak on my own. It sounds so simple, but oftentimes it's easy to slip into that plural. We, they, everybody. Well, what is it that I have to offer? I have to share. And then be an empathetic listener. An empathetic listener in the conversation about breakfast. Okay? The pig and the chicken have a conversation. Huh? The chicken is sympathetic. The pig is empathetic. The conversation about breakfast. You got that? The chicken is sympathetic, going to contribute the egg. What's the pig going to contribute? Empathetic listening is, I get into the other person's moccasins. I'm not trying to be defensive about what that other person is saying, figure out how they're wrong and I'm right, but what are they saying? How are they feeling? How do they come to that expression? That's empathetic, not just being sympathetic, but empathetic. And then we go on. Take responsibility, empathetic listening, and then be sensitive. That's that feeling sense. Not just am I hearing what they say, but do I have some sense of the feeling that's with that? Huh? Frustration, confusion, maybe even anger at times, maybe hurt at times, maybe joy at times. So it's not just what is said, but how it's said. Do I receive that as part of a gift as well? I speak what I feel, what I think, and I try to get myself into the other person's moccasins, not only to hear and understand what they're saying, but maybe even to feel something of what they say. And then to ponder, A lot of this that we're talking about in word working, when we get to that, it's a conversation where the first obligation, the first initiative, the first agenda item for me is not so much to come up to what to say to you, but to think, isn't that interesting? To ponder, to take to heart what somebody has offered as far as their sharing. Okay? The Blessed Mother is an example of that. We just heard that not too many weeks ago. She treasured all of these things in her heart, pondering. So we got the R, the E, the S, the P. Let's look at the next. And examine. We don't want to forget the head in all of this. We want to take this to heart. We want to sense the feeling, but we also want to examine. What are they saying? Really use our brains in this regard as well. And then, this is an important one. Keep confidentiality. It's not so much that great secrets may be shared there or what have you, but this is a place where someone in these word working groups should be able to share knowing that it's for this group and at this time and at this place. And it's not meant to be then later talked about. You wouldn't believe what Father Bob said. He didn't understand a thing about that gospel. Matter of fact, it makes him angry. It makes him mad. So this is a conversation for this time, for this place, with these people. And that people should have that kind of mutual trust. Also, we need to tolerate ambiguity. You may say potatoes, I may say potatoes, you may say tomatoes, I may say tomatoes, and you'd say, where does he get that stupid language? He's saying those stupid things. Huh? Can I, in a sense, tolerate that, in a sense, there may be two sides of this story, three sides of this story. There may be all kinds of ways to understand it and explain it. And this is an important thing. The groups that we're invited to come into during this time of Lent are not necessarily Bible study groups. That ambiguity may lead us to want to study more about the Scriptures, to understand more about what the Scripture is saying. What are the teachers saying about it? What are the exegetes saying about it? But this is not the place. It's to somehow allow there to be that ambiguity, that in a sense we're not really trying to come up with the final word here. We're attempting to let the Word work on us.